Hi and namaste. You know what? Change is the only constant, they say, and we all agree. However, when it comes to people, they find it so difficult to change themselves. Why would we want to change, if at all? There are two things that we may want to change for. One is for ourselves. We need to change certain things because it's good for us. Two is for the outside world that we live in. There may be things that are happening we want to keep up pace with or match into in some ways, and that needs a little bit of pace, and we have to be able to adapt ourselves to what's going on around us. So these are the two things why people would want to change. But when it comes to change, bringing change in the person, people don't find it easy, but once we understand what is required to be done to bring about that change, it is not that difficult. It's quite easy if you understand the process. So first things first, you got to ask what needs to be changed. Challenge the status quo of what's going on to be able to understand what needs to change and why it needs to change. Very, very important. You have to put a good why out there to understand why it needs to change. We got to start, number two, questioning our answers, because when we ask why things need to change, what needs to change, immediately we'll have an auto response from our body and our mind saying, oh, this is because of this. So the change, this is happening because of this. So if you're not doing well in some area, it is because of a factor. So now you got to check whether that's the right answer. Is it because of that factor, or is it something more to that? Is it about you? It is possible that there is a factor existing, but you haven't been able to cope up with that factor very well. So for example, I know people, who they're supposed to go out and look for an opportunity, for example, or a job. Now they say, oh, it's not happening because it's the market is pretty bad. But I also ask them to ask whether you have looked properly, looked at the right place. Are you backing off? Are you lazy? Are you not looking at things in the eye? Are you not facing what is going on? So you have to start asking larger questions and ask yourself a question. Leave the outside factors for a while and ask what you can do. What is in your control is something that you can do. So go there because that is where the primary change is going to happen. Once we do that, and that is once we question what needs to be changed and why it needs to be changed, challenging the status quo, and then questioning our own answers. Very, very important. Once we get there, you will figure a certain thing that you will boil down to say, okay, this is where probably I need to. So the example that I gave earlier, if you were to look for a job and you say, oh, I will only go and look at in the vacancy sections in newspaper, or figure out on the internet, then I would probably ask you, are there other ways to do this? Do you know any other way to do this? And you find your list of 10 things that you can do with that. And then you will see you've opened up an entire avenue of things that you could actually do. And it's not just with a job, but with anything, with yourself, with your family, with your work, with something that you need to change about yourself in terms of habits. Point 3 will come down to monitoring that change. Once you get there, you have to start behaving. You have to change your outer behaviors, number one. Either you can be strong enough to change it every moment of your life from the inner space and say, this is how it's going to be. Or you can start changing it from the outside. They say, do it physically and allow your body to feel it. So you got to go out there, and at times maybe by yourself, just sit with yourself and do it with yourself alone. Maybe look in the mirror and do it, but figure out a physical version of what the change is going to look like. Very, very important. So we want the thing to change, but we do not know where it's going to go and what it's going to look like. So a lot of people are not able to get there because they cannot visualize what the change is going to look like. So get that change into your physical self, your body. Change your spoken word, change your body language, change what you're seeing, change what you're talking, change how you're talking, change the content of what you're thinking, and then watch yourself. At the end of the day, figure out that the thing that you question, the why that you figured and why you need to change, the questions that you answered, and the answers that you questioned about yourself, the way that you changed your physical behaviors, has that caused anything to change in you, in your thinking patterns, in your way of looking at things, in your way of imagining what the change is going to look like, in the way of feeling what the change would be like. And you will see it's not as difficult as it sounds. It's pretty easy. You got to just practice it, go down there, condition your system to understand this 3-step process. That's it. And then you can easily figure small changes, big outcomes. Small changes, big outcomes. Just go catch that and do that.